You released Yamato, Kaido's daughter. The latter didn't care about you defeating her father and destroying the beast pirates, but she focused on you and was determined to defeat you. In the future, I will go to sea to pursue my dream. 0. Although her strength is quite strong, she is not your opponent. You successfully defeated her. In the following days, Yamato will come to challenge you almost every day, and then you will beat him up, and after a while, he will return to his original appearance. At the same time, Kojiki Hiri also often hangs around in front of you. In the 6th year, the development of Wano country is booming, the people's happiness is very high, and the relationship between you and Yamato and Kojiki Hiri is getting closer and closer. The news about you defeating Kaido and occupying the Wano country has spread throughout the world, which immediately caused a sensation in the entire sea. A new emperor of the sea was born, and all parties have different ideas. Even if you killed the Tianlong people, but the navy doesn't dare to attack you, you have gained precious development time. You didn't choose to leave Wano country, but stayed on this island and started to practice with great concentration, digesting your strength, and at the same time devoted yourself to studying the method of using the domineering color of the overlord. In the 7th year, your strength has steadily improved, and even your swordsmanship has become stronger. In the 8th year, some pirates came to Wano country recklessly and challenged you, but you didn't need to do it at all. Most of the pirates, Black Maria and June under their command, could handle it even if they were stronger. Yes, with the existence of Yamato, you don't need to worry about it at all. You continue to practice with great concentration. In the 9th year, you successfully mastered the domineering entanglement of Overlord color and officially became the top powerhouse. Now you meet Kaido, even if you don't need 2 lives, you can still defeat him. You are almost at the apex of One Piece world. In the 10th year, with the help of many people, you married Yamato and Guanjiu Hihi, and your married life is very happy. In the 11th year, Wano country ushered in an uninvited guest, known as the most ferocious criminal in the world, Monkey D. Long. For his arrival, you were very surprised, but you still gave him a warm welcome. Dragon showed you his intention of coming. It turns out that he wanted to lure you into his group because you had killed the Tianlong people, to launch an attack on the corrupt world government and to overthrow this evil organization. You didn't feel any surprises. From the moment you saw the dragon, you knew the other party's intention. If it was before, you would probably have agreed to cooperate with the dragon, but now you are not alone, so your heart is full of worries. At this moment, Guanjiu Hiri and Yamato appeared beside you. The two hold your left and right hands respectively, and give you strength with gentle eyes. You understand that they will support all your decisions. So you no longer hesitate, you agree to cooperate with the dragon to overthrow the world government together. Under this goal, the entire Wano country has entered a state where all the people are soldiers. With the advanced thinking in your mind, the revolutionary army has gone much smoother. But you know the power of the world government, so you start to make other preparations. In the 12th year, your strength improvement becomes slow, you temporarily stop the idea of crazy cultivation, and plan to go to sea to complete other things. After you have discussed with everyone, Kojiki Hiri will stay in Wano country and manage the country with others, and you will take Yamato to leave Wano country for half a day before heading towards the Great Voyage. Chapter 109. If you can't beat it, just flip the table. The world is destroyed. Thanks to Solomon and Xianchen Mo for the monthly pass. Leave the New World and return to the East Daxia Sea smoothly. This is the 12th year since you arrived in Pirate World, and it is also the year when the story begins. You returned to the Ishine Dojo in Shiki village of Seymour, and learned from Koshiro Shimatsuki that after Kuina learned about you, she chose to go to sea and planned to go to Wano country to find you. Even Saran was there. You chose to go to sea not long ago, and your expression is full of regret. You invited Koshiro Shimatsuki to return to Wano country, but he refused. You didn't push any further, you left Seymour's Hiji village, and started wandering in the East Daxia Sea. You successively eliminated the 3 pirate groups of Crow, Creek, and Evil Dragon, and then you defeated Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai under the king, liberated the entire Alabasta, and brought Alabasta under your command at the same time, the vital force in the first half of the greatest route. Next, you go to the capital of 7 Waters and defeat all CP9. Unfortunately, the door fruit has been eaten, which makes you feel very regretful. You got the blueprint of the ancient weapon Pluto from Frankie, and successfully persuaded him and Bingshan to serve you, and tried your best to build the ancient weapon. Afterwards, you brought Yamato to the Chambord Islands again, which made Yamato, who had never left the Wano country, feel very excited. You chose to stay for a while, and accompanied Yamato to play in the Chambord Islands, almost covering the entire island. I've been around. However, maybe you were born at odds with the Celestial Dragons, and you and Yamato met the Celestial Dragons again. You shot and killed him without hesitation. After many years, it caused panic again. The Navy headquarters responded quickly, sent 2 naval archipelagos to the direction. But you didn't intend to have direct contact with the Navy. After the coating, you went straight to Murloc Island, which is also the second goal of your trip. Arrive at Fishman Island again, the King of Fishman Island warmly entertained you June 17. You expressed your goodwill, and at the same time shot to kill Vanderdaken 9 who had been pestering Shirahoshi, thus gaining the friendship from Fishman Island. At the same time, you solved the problem of Murloc Street by the way. You took Bai Seeing away from Murloc Island. Although the king of Murloc Island was very reluctant to give up, but under the strong request of Bai Seeing himself, in the end, he had no choice but to agree. A few months later, you arrived in Dressrosa, and you destroyed the Don Quixote family with a thunderbolt. Even the clown Doflamingo, one of the king's 7 martial arts, was killed by you. Your behavior will undoubtedly make the world government even more angry. They don't want you to continue to be unscrupulous like this. You still don't know anything about this. You have successfully obtained Dressrosa's friendship and gained allies again. Next, you went to Zawu, got the approval of the Fur clan, and the power became stronger again. After you return to Wano country, you will start secretly building the ancient weapon Pluto, and at the same time train Shirahoshi, trying to make her awaken the power Emperor of the Sea Lord as soon as possible. During this period, you have not forgotten to improve your own strength. Half a year later, with the help of Frankie and Bingshan, Pluto was successfully created, and Shirahoshi also successfully awakened the power of Neptune, who can easily manipulate huge Neptunes to serve him. You are still waiting for an opportunity that can cause changes in the world. Finally, the top battle is approaching, and the situation on the sea has undergone tremendous changes. You know that your chance has come, and you are also secretly discussing with the dragon. Although the latter feels very risky, but in the face of the strength you have shown, you finally choose to agree. You decided to launch an attack on the Holy Land of Marijoa on the day the top war started. Everything is ready, but just as the appointed time is approaching, the news suddenly comes from the sea. The Navy headquarters intends to execute Fire Fist Ace. At the same time, there is also the bounty hunter Kuina who has fought against the Navy. When you hear the news, you instantly become angry. You know, this is the Navy's provocation to you, trying to take advantage of this opportunity to wipe out the Whitebeard pirates and you. After all, although you have become the new 4 emperors, compared with the other 4 emperors, your subordinates' combat power is not particularly strong. However, the world government does not know that you have obtained 2 of the weapons. You decided to join the top war. It's a lot of trouble. In the room, Li Yiming scratched his head helplessly. Originally, the behavior of the other self was already very impatient, and he didn't even like this kind of behavior at all. Even if he created Pluto and mastered Neptune, the strongest king of ancient weapons is still in the hands of the world government, which is also the most mysterious ancient weapons. In addition, no one knows whether the ruling class, which has existed for hundreds of years, has any cards, so it is too hasty to launch a crusade in such a grand manner. However, anyway, it is a traversal simulation, and there is no problem in trying it a little bit. But he never expected that such a situation would happen on the way. The Navy somehow found out about his relationship with Kuina, so he shamelessly grabbed the girl. It really has a Navy style. Tisk, I really have you, the warring states of the Buddha. I just don't know if you can take such a big chessboard, and face 4 emperors at the same time. You are really full of courage. Li Yiming sneered involuntarily, and his eyes fell on the system screen again. The war on the top is coming as scheduled, and the Whitebeard pirates are the first to appear. You didn't show up in a hurry, but you did appear in the Navy headquarters, but with the help of the power of the Doorfruit, you have been staying in the special space created by it. When you were in the capital of Seven Waters, you defeated all the members of CP9 and successfully regained them, because you fell in love with the ability of the Fruit of the Door. I didn't expect that it would come in handy now when you were in the old nest of hard work. Time passed slowly, the top war broke out completely, and the Navy headquarters became a mess. At this moment, you suddenly appeared on the execution platform. In the eyes of everyone caught off guard, you rescued Kuina, and at the same time defused the attack of the warring kingdom of Buddha. But just when you were about to leave, more figures appeared one after another. In addition to the steel-framed admiral of the previous generation, there are also many CP members in white uniforms. This is probably where the confidence of the world government lies. You smiled disdainfully. You didn't intend to continue to entangle with these people, and once again used the Doorfruit to leave the Navy headquarters. When it reappeared, you still arrived at the holy land of Marijoa. The Fruit of the Door opened again, and a large number of strong men appeared in Marijoan. Among them, apart from Wano, there were also the armies of Alabasta and Dressrosa, as well as members of the Revolutionary Army. Everyone faced Marijoa charged. Your sudden appearance immediately caught Marijoa's defense force a little off guard, plus a lot of force has been dispatched to the Navy headquarters for support, and it fell into a disadvantage for a moment. Pluto and Byzing's power made all the defensive forces of Marijoa powerless to resist. You rushed to the center of Marijoa very easily, and met the 5 old stars who came to resist. Although the strength of the 5 old men is not bad, but due to old age, their strength has begun to decline. They are no match for you and Long, and they were defeated very easily. 1. Just when you were about to kill the opponent, there was a loud noise in the sky. I saw a huge lightning falling from the sky, and the Pluto battleship suddenly emitted a ray, which collided with the lightning, and the 2 energies exploded. The smoke and dust dissipated, and a figure appeared in front of everyone. The strength of the visitor is extremely powerful. From the name Wulaoxing called her, it can be judged that the other party is I'm, the king of Tianlonggren. You and the dragon attack I'm directly, but her strength is beyond imagination. With a wave of her hand, a thick green plant rose from the ground, binding most of the people, and the power in the bodies of all devil fruit users disappeared instantly. You and the dragon immediately became vigilant, and a bold guess appeared in your heart. The woman in front of you might be able to control the power of the legendary devil fruit tree. After hearing this guess, Long was surprised, but I'm showed approval to you. To put it simply, I'm is the nemesis of all devil fruit ability users. But even so, you have no chance to turn back. The Navy headquarters has no time to withdraw now, and the world government is empty. It is a good opportunity to overthrow it, so you and the dragon no longer hold back, and burst out with all your strength. Your strength makes I'm amazed. Even if the thunder fruit can't be effective, the sun fire created by the breath of the sun is the nemesis of the devil fruit tree. Im's offensive is instantly suppressed, which also makes she put you on the kill list. With your powerful swordsmanship and the fire of the sun, you suppress Im. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the dragon no longer uses the power of the devil fruit, and the moment it gets close to Im, it directly casts physical skills. Im's physical skills are also powerful, but when you approach, you are instantly suppressed. Seeing that he was about to lose, Im no longer kept it, the power of the devil fruit tree exploded completely, and a large number of plants appeared in the whole Marijoya, attacking all life forms indiscriminately. After absorbing all the vitality in their bodies, a powerful force erupted. The dragon was instantly killed, his chest was pierced by the branches of the devil fruit tree, and the vitality in his body was also passing away, but when he was dying, this man stretched out his hands and grabbed Im tightly, preventing her from moving freely. You didn't waste this opportunity, the sun breath 13 swung out in an instant, beheading Im in an instant. Blood did not flow from Im's wound, but green juice flowed out instead. At this time, she no longer has a human form, and has completely turned into a green treant. The fire of the sun was burning on her body, and Im let out a shrill scream. At the same time, she began to struggle quickly, but under the control of the dragon, she couldn't break free at all, until the two of them were killed by the fire of the sun one after another. Ignite. Suddenly, Im erupted with astonishing power just before his death. She directly mobilized all the power in her body, and the body of the devil fruit tree rooted in the red earth continent began to collapse, and the entire red earth continent became precarious. The next moment, the devil fruit tree explodes directly, and you and the dragon bear the brunt of being swallowed by the exploding king of power. Because of the collapse of the red earth continent, the entire world was affected, and a large amount of underground magma erupted, first in the four seas, then in the Great Root, and finally in the New World. Im exploded and died, and you and the dragon also died at the same time. The land was completely destroyed by magma and sea water, and everyone died in this turmoil. You died, and at the same time caused the destruction of the world. Because of your death, the time travel simulation process is terminated. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the final evaluation S-. You can choose two of the following rewards. The 3-color arrogance acquired in this simulation, the physical skills and physical strength acquired in this simulation, the swordsmanship learned in this simulation, the thunder fruit obtained in this simulation and subsequent development, no side effects, combat experience and forging experience gained in this simulation. Ding. It is detected that the final evaluation has reached S. The host can choose the real person simulation, can choose one more reward, or give up this real person simulation opportunity and continue the time travel simulation. Several rewards did not make Li Yiming feel happy. Although the final evaluation was S-, he was still not particularly happy. FK, fight well, but in the end you can't beat the table. If you want to be so decisive, even the world will be destroyed together, it would be too frustrating to really have you. Li Yiming complained softly, with helplessness written all over his face. Forget it, at least there is no good news in this traversal simulation. At least I have found out a lot of information, and it has laid the foundation for the real-life traversal simulation in the future. After sitting by the bed in silence for a while, Li Yiming finally thought of an acceptable reason. Im's true identity has been fully figured out. Except for the king of the dragon people, he can actually control the power of the devil fruit tree. Almost all devil fruits have no great effect on her. In addition, the body of the devil fruit tree is rooted in the red earth continent, and it is really shameless that a disagreement can destroy the world. When performing real-life time travel simulations, you really need to pay attention to this aspect. However, it is a little unexpected that this time travel simulation can get such a high final evaluation, but it seems reasonable. After all, the other self has done a lot of things. It also directly or indirectly led to the destruction of Pirate World, and it seems that there is nothing wrong with being able to get an S evaluation. System, I choose to get 3 rewards. As for rewards, 1, 2, 4. 1. This time without much hesitation, Li Yiming quickly made a choice. After all, during this traversal simulation, the swordsmanship has not made much breakthrough, or to be precise, compared with other abilities, the enhancement is still insufficient. So in this case, there's not much to think about either. After the words fell, Li Yiming's strength changed significantly again, a lot of memories appeared in his mind, and at the same time, several powerful forces 3.8 appeared in his body. However, the function of traveling through the simulation has also dimmed again. Before Li Yiming did the real-life time travel simulation, this function will be completely blocked. It will be redeveloped only after the real-life time travel simulation is cleared, or after giving up the real-life time travel simulation. However, after giving up, will there be any disadvantages? Then it is not clear. Therefore, in order to avoid any special circumstances, it is better to prepare first. My current strength has undergone earth-shaking changes. Even in the world of One Piece, I can be called the top, but there is no way to deal with I'm. It would be better to wait for a while. By the way, my current strength is higher than that of Euler. What is Li's level? After making up his mind, Li Yiming turned off the white screen in front of him with a thought. Squeezing his fist slightly, the overwhelming strength in his body makes people feel obsessed. This kind of leapfrogging in strength is really amazing. So much so that Li Yiming even felt that Olali was too small. He needs a bigger stage. The domineering aura of knowledge and knowledge was released instantly, and the whole Olali was enveloped by him. With the increase of the thunder fruit, everyone's conversations could not escape his ears. However, Reveria of the Loki family suddenly raised her head and looked at the sky with a vigilant expression. For a mage with extremely strong mental power, it is natural to be aware of the knowledgeable arrogance released by Li Yiming, but it is impossible to effectively determine who released this force. Aware of this, Li Yiming quickly withdrew his domineering arrogance. It's really a person who can't underestimate this world, but can actually capture my arrogance and arrogance. It's worthy of being called the Nine-Demon Princess. Then let me try it in the dungeon next time. As he spoke, Li Yiming turned into a lightning bolt and disappeared into the room in an instant. Chapter 110 The Public Enemy and Masochism of the He Faith Tas Family, monthly ticket plus subscription required. In the dark night, little thunder flashes. Li Yiming turned into a thunderbolt, and his speed was almost increased to the extreme. He appeared under the Tower of Babel in a few breaths, and entered the dungeon without disturbing anyone. It was not the first time he had entered the dungeon at night, everything seemed so familiar. I don't intend to stay too much on the upper floor. With the power of the thunderous fruit, the speed can be said to be full. Li Yiming can turn into thunder and lightning and continuously beat. This speed is almost impossible to catch with the naked eye, and will only stay in place. A streak of dazzling white lightning. In just 2 hours, he had already appeared in the middle level. It was not until reaching the 16th floor that Li Yiming slowed down his progress. Then start killing from here. It just so happens that the lowest floor I have ever reached is the 18th floor. I have never seen what the monsters behind it look like. Let's take a good look at it tonight. Rubbing his fists, Li Yiming pinned a sun-will knife around his waist, stuck it close to his back, and ran towards the direction of the downward floor passage. Suddenly, Li Yiming subconsciously stopped his steps. Knowledgeable and domineering sensed the surrounding situation, Li Yiming frowned slightly, and just as he looked around, he heard 10 bursts of intensive landing sounds entering his ears. In the line of sight, dozens of minotaurs suddenly appeared in this arc-shaped cave, born from the surrounding walls and the stone walls of the ceiling, and fell to the ground one after another. A large number of Tauren have also appeared behind them. In the blink of an eye, Li Yiming was surrounded by countless minotaurs. Unexpectedly there will be an abnormal situation, A monster feast? So, is this a welcome from the dungeon? It really helped a lot. I wanted to exercise my muscles and bones. Since you are giving me face like this, I will naturally you won't be polite either. Looking at the dense crowd of minotaurs, Li Yiming also showed an excited expression on his face. With this amount of monsters, even a LV.3 adventurer would never dare to say that they will be able to solve them. After all, this is a Tauren, an elite monster in LV.2. If it was in the past, Li Yiming might still feel troublesome, but now, it can no longer cause him any trouble. Then let's say hello first. 19. The Minotaur, who was holding a stone axe, faced Li Yiming and let out a roar that shook the sky. One after another, the terrifying roar echoed continuously in the cave, and the aura under the combination gushed out in an instant. The whole cave was shrouded in a terrible atmosphere. The next moment, these Tauren were no longer limited to deterrence, but turned into wild bulls and launched a charge. Calm down, bastards. Li Yiming's pupils shrank sharply, and immediately after that, a burst of aura surged out, honed to the extreme overlord-like arrogance, crushing the aura released by the Minotaur in an instant, and then under the impact underneath, the statures of all the Tauren stagnated suddenly. Almost all the Minotaurs fell into a state of dull eyes, and many of them fell directly to the ground because they rushed too fast. After a few breaths, something terrifying happened. Bang bang bang. There was a series of impact sounds, and a huge group of Minotaurs fell to the ground like dumplings. Their eye sockets had lost all vitality, and they were still foaming at the mouth. With just one round of overbearing arrogance, all the Minotaurs lost their ability to move. Is it only this level? Looking at the scene in front of him, Li Yiming frowned slightly, looking a little disappointed. At first I was expecting a little bit, but now it looks like I may be stronger than I imagined. Then let's go deeper, but I don't know if Gloria is still there. Other than that, I don't know where to collect the Alberts needed for the upgrade. It's a little troublesome. When he thought of his broken ability value and the great achievements needed to upgrade, he was a little at a loss as to what to do. However, as long as you continue to go deeper, you can always accumulate enough. Having completely lost interest in the Minotaur, Li Yiming killed all the Tauren with one kick, put away the magic stone in his body, and accelerated towards the lower floors. When he reached the 17th floor, the expected Goliath did not appear, which made him a little disappointed. From the looks of it, it should have been killed by some unknown team of adventurers. After all, although Goliath is the first floor master and a LV.4 monster, in general, still a novice monster. Weaker adventurers needed to accumulate ability points and great achievements, and powerful adventurers just kill it casually, so every time Goliath is refreshed, adventurers who are capable of attacking it are very eager to do so. Yes, so it's not uncommon for Goliath to be invisible. Li Yiming didn't pay too much attention, and went straight through the 17th floor and the security floor, and entered the new world. Compared with the team, Li Yiming's progress is very fast. Standing within the scope of the 19th floor, Li Yiming subconsciously slowed down, and looked around subconsciously. No matter the ceiling, the surrounding walls, or even the ground here are made of bark. It is also for this reason that the area from the 19th to the 24th floors is called the Big Tree Labyrinth. In the passage leading to the depths, there are various plants growing, and the luxuriant moss exudes blue or green light, making everything around it look very mysterious. All kinds of plants make this place the most natural treasure house. In the Big Tree Maze, there are also a lot of medicinal materials growing. Many adventurers collect these medicinal materials and make them into magic potions, which are very popular among adventurers. Therefore, the value of the Big Tree Maze can be said to be quite high. However, not everyone can come to this kind of place. After all, the environment of the Big Tree Labyrinth in the middle area is quite complicated, which also provides a habitat for the monsters. Flame-breathing firebirds, bloody beehives and deadly hornets, trap-type monsters with mimicry abilities, dark poisonous mushrooms, green tree dragons, moss giants, etc., will all cause a lot of trouble for adventurers, but since they have never seen it before, Li Yiming also doesn't know the method of attack. Among them, the most troublesome monster is the poisonous demon maggot. There is not much threat under a single body, but if it gathers a terrifying amount, it will be very troublesome, especially like some adventurers who are alone. There is almost no possibility of surviving. Not to mention, the environment here is really beautiful. Walking in the maze of big trees, Li Yiming looked very leisurely, without feeling the slightest pressure. Have no choice. If he wants to, he can even easily avoid the attacks of all the monsters. However, he wanted to learn about the attack methods of the new monsters, so he had no intention of avoiding them deliberately. After a while, he met the first monster in the big tree maze. The monsters here are all LV.2, the number is huge, and there are a pair of huge horns on their heads that are as sharp as sword blades. It is completely impossible to tell whether they are sheep or deer. At least, there is no such creature in the common sense of ordinary people. Oh! The huge sword-horned deer roared ferociously, and then swooped towards Li Yiming with the sharp sword-like antlers. The latter stood in place, without the slightest thought of dodging, but stretched out his right hand to resist. Clang! There was a crisp metal impact, and Li Yiming steadily received the impact of the sword-horned deer, standing straight on the spot without shaking at all, and at the same time, his palms were not damaged in the slightest. With such a weak monster in front of him, there is no way to break through his armed domineering defense. The strength is not bad, and the sword angle is very sharp. After the acceleration, the momentum is huge. It is indeed a bit bluffing, but it is not as scary as imagined. It is not bad. After making a simple evaluation, Li Yiming clenched his fist and slammed it down. The head of the sword-horned deer in front of him burst open like a watermelon. There was no obstacle at all due to the huge gap in strength, and he directly killed the sword-horned deer in front of him. Immediately afterwards, Li Yiming raised his foot and swung out, a huge vacuum slash flew out, killing all the sword-horned deer. It's so weak, there's no challenge at all. I feel like LV.3 adventurers can't stop me. I just don't know if higher level monsters will be different. However, if you want to meet LV.4 level monsters, after the 36th floor, it is a bit too time consuming. Today, I have made an appointment with Xiren and the others. If you want to continue training, it is obviously impossible to release pigeons. Then just go deeper. As for the official expedition, we can probably only wait until we have a chance to talk about it later. After making up his mind, Li Yiming didn't waste any more time. His speed instantly increased to the highest level, and he turned into lightning and disappeared on the spot in an instant. After a while, he rushed out of the big tree maze. Even if it is only the first time to come to this kind of floor, even if there is no map, Li Yiming has nowhere to hide from the whole floor because he has knowledge and arrogance. He can completely rely on the distribution of monsters to find the correct path to the lower level. Soon, he came to beyond the 24th floor, which is the area where LV.3 level monsters are active. As he thought before, his strength has far exceeded the scope of the current level. As for where the high point is, even he himself doesn't know. But the only thing that is certain is that it is still no problem to be comparable to first-level adventurers. As for whether it can be comparable to LV.6, or even LV.7, it is not very clear. However, Li Yiming had a thought in his heart. With his current strength, even the pigman Oda, who is known as the Violent Man, may not be his opponent. Even if he cannot defeat the opponent, at least he can fight each other. However, the high probability should be that he can win. It's only LV.2, but its combat power far exceeds its upper limit, reaching the top level of Orario. Even if you say it, no one will believe it. Kicking a monster to death with one kick, Li Yiming gradually lost interest. Looking at the pocket watch I got from the world of Demon Slayer, Blade World, it is not long before dawn, there is no need to stay any longer, so let's end today's trip temporarily. The original pursuit of self-protection power seems to have been obtained now. That being the case, it seems that you can slow down and enjoy life. The next plan may be to improve my forging technology, and then find the ability to live forever from other worlds. After all, I don't want to part with my lovers because of the end of life after I embrace the beauty. Too bad. So, for a happy life in the future, let's work hard. Kill the last monster and take all. The magic stones were collected, and Li Yiming did not forget to pick all the herbs that he saw along the way, as gifts for Zhu Shi and Shinobu. After doing all this, his whole body turned into a streamer again and disappeared into the dungeon. In the following time, Li Yiming can be said to be quite leisurely. Without enough confidence to subdue or even kill him before he chooses to die, Li Yiming does not intend to start the real-life time travel simulation. If possible, he wants to. You must accumulate enough great achievements first, and then go to the world of One Piece after upgrading. After all, with the ability value he has accumulated now, he will definitely become stronger again after upgrading. At that time, it will be easier to deal with the world of One Piece. But before that, we still need to train a few apprentices first. Li Yiming started the road of online learning with Butterfly Ninja, AISI, and Iona. In the morning, Butterfly Ninja did physical training and taught the other two girls about the 6 styles. In the afternoon, I will take everyone into the dungeon together for the rest of the training. At the beginning, it was only on the 13th floor, but as the training progressed, it went deep into the 16th floor, that is, using Minotaur 803 for training. Butterfly Shinobu was exhausted every day, and then recovered after a night of medicinal baths. In this way, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, leaving the dungeon at 5 o'clock in the evening, working from 8 to 5, with no rest time, it is completely harder than going to work. Of course, this is only for Dai Ninja alone. The two girls, Isai and Iona, had already fully learned the 6 styles on the 5th day, and after that, they only needed to master them and apply them in actual combat. The two women expressed their most sincere gratitude, and they really sent a lot of precious materials needed to make the Vitality Recovery Potion. Originally, Yoya Yabayashiki planned to buy it with money. However, under Isai's firm attitude, she still failed to give the money to Dr. Tien in the end. Li Yiming saw all this in his eyes, but he didn't force it. Now that he has established a relationship with the Loki family, then just let it go. Even though she has learned the 6 styles, AISI has no intention of leaving, and she doesn't know if it's the girl's innate intuition. She always feels that Li Yiming has more powerful means. Ever since, this cute girl has been pestering Li Yiming every day, asking for advice on various fighting skills. The latter didn't hide any secrets at all. After roughly understanding his own strength, he really regarded himself as the master of Isai and Iona and began to teach him carefully. Therefore, the 4 people who are keen on exercising gradually became famous among adventurers. This is thanks to Ace and Tiona. The 2 members of the He Faith family are obviously only LV.1, but they hang out with the Loki family's Sword Princess and Great Cut all day long, making a move against the Minotaur. Some unspeakable behavior. It was just a rumor just now, but as time goes by, adventurers who often go deep or have entered the 16th floor will encounter the 4 of them, and they all know such a story happening. The main reason is that this combination is too special, so it is easy to be remembered. Then Li Yiming got the title of Public Enemy. Similarly, Butterfly Ninja also got the title of Masochist. To be honest, when the 2 of them heard this title, they were very conflicted. Li Yiming's Public Enemy is a little easier to think about. After all, there are 3 beautiful beauties around him every day. This kind of treatment almost makes most male adventurers I am very envious and jealous, especially there is Ace who still has a face comparable to that of a god. There is nothing wrong with having such a title. But as a girl, Dai Dai Ren is called a masochist, which is very inappropriate. Is it because they only dodge and take attacks without fighting back? What kind of nonsense is this? These adventurers are idle all day long. For this reason, Dai Dai Ren didn't even want to appear in the dungeon for a while. Fortunately, under Li Yiming's gentle persuasion, she ignored other people's words and re-entered into special training. As for those adventurers who like to talk badly, just let them go. That is to say, in this kind of harsh training, Butterfly Ninja finally achieved the desired results. Chapter 111 The First Upgrade. The sudden attack of the Loki family, thanks to the monthly pass of Zhang Qiang and Dongfang Falcon. I didn't expect you, Shinobi, to be the first member to be upgraded. Not only that, but you also have more physical skills, and there is also a harmony in the development ability, which is really surprising. In the room of He Faith's family, Goddess He Faith looked at the sheepskin scroll in her hand and said in surprise. In front of her, Butterfly Shinobu, who unbuttoned his clothes and exposed his back, skillfully put on his shirt again. Hearing the words of the red-haired goddess, his eyes sparkled with excitement. That's right, in half a month, Butterfly Ninja has exercised all of his abilities to the limit. Except for strength and durability, which are only C, dexterity and agility have reached the level of A. The magic power has even increased to S, and even Albert has collected it during this time. When the level is raised to LV.2, the proficiency of basic abilities will be reset. But this does not mean that all the efforts so far have been scrapped, but turned into hidden parameters. Butterfly Ninja can clearly feel that the current self is completely different from the self before the upgrade. The rise of the level is the sublimation of the container. After the upgrade, your upper limit has undoubtedly been raised. Next, you only need to continue to accumulate proficiency. Congratulations, Shinobi, you have broken away from the level of a new adventurer. I have officially become a senior adventurer. Looking at Butterfly Ninja, who doesn't have much sense of reality, He Faith explained with a smile on his face. It's a pity that there are no new skills and magic in the upgrade, but the addition of the development ability of reconciliation is also very helpful to her. I really don't see that Li Yiming actually has the talent for teaching. Thank you, Lord God. Feeling the changes in himself, Butterfly Ninja finally showed a knowing smile on his face, and bowed slightly respectfully to He Faith, expressing his most sincere thanks. You know, her sister and others haven't leveled up yet, but she is ahead of everyone else. This makes Butterfly Ninja, who wants to gain enough power so that she doesn't need to be protected by others, very excited. She can finally follow in everyone's footsteps. No, this is all your own efforts, so please work hard in the future. Yes, Lord God. After a few simple conversations, Butterfly Shinobi exited He Faith's room. The smile on his face could no longer be concealed, and he bounced towards the library. Perhaps it was because of being too excited, this normally meticulous girl seemed so presumptuous at this time. She pushed open the door and said loudly, "Sister Zushi, I have successfully upgraded." That's right, that's really congratulations, Shinobu. Zushi, who was reading in the library, slowly raised his head, showing a gentle smile. You should be the first one among us to upgrade. Is it possible to fulfill your wish now? Well, thank you, Sister Zushi, I have probably found a fighting method that suits me, and I also thank you for the poisons you have studied with me. I have tried it, and the effect is really good. 17. I just played some trivial role, as long as it works. Compared with other people, Zushi did not want to level up as much as she imagined, but focused on learning medical knowledge. The various medicinal materials Li Yiming picked from the big tree maze were of great help to her. Of course, she will also enter the dungeon, but not as urgently as others. Goddess He Faith has said more than once that Zushi is more suitable for Mihi than her family. By the way, Miss Zushi, do you know where Mr. Yiming is? I want to tell her the good news. If I remember correctly, he should be in the kitchen right now. Then I'll go find him first, let's talk later. Saying that, Dai Dai endured and waved lightly towards Zushi, then turned and left the library. The entire family residence was already very familiar to her, and she arrived at the kitchen with ease. A sturdy figure was wearing an apron, busy inside. Similarly, by his side, there is also a woman helping. The two were working in full swing in front of the stove, and the scene could be said to be quite lively. Really, why did you invite Loki's family members to come over for dinner? Why should I cook the banquet myself? Shouldn't you find a higher-end restaurant for this kind of meeting between gods, and then the members of the family members under your command will stand on both sides? Isn't it more formal? What are you complaining about? Wasn't I also brought in to help? Besides, it's not because of the incident you caused on the safe floor last time. I thought it would be nothing. In the end, you got entangled with the sword girl of the Loki family and was discovered by the Loki god. Is that what will lead to this kind of thing? Tsubaki, who originally delayed his forging time, suddenly showed a dissatisfied expression, and even hit Li Yiming's head with his hand. You can get my help, you boy, I will be very grateful to Dade. But having said that, how did you exercise? You are clearly LV.2, and your body is too strong. Even I can't beat you. You haven't been an adventurer for long. You really are a monster. Not paying attention to Chun's movements at all, Li Yiming skillfully stir-fried the food in the pot. However, after hearing Tsubaki's words, he still rolled his eyes subconsciously. Do you think I'm willing? You said that what happened last time was a misunderstanding. Later, Isai and Iona took the initiative to worship me as a teacher. You also know that I am good at everything, but there is no way to refuse the beautiful girl. The request can only be agreed. Shout, I really don't know how a playful guy like you is favored by the Lord God. Chun curled his lips in dissatisfaction, his face was full of contempt. This is probably the charm of personality. Li Yiming raised his eyebrows slightly, his face was full of complacency. Putting the food in the pot into the plate, Li Yiming was about to take it outside, when he turned around, the exquisite face of Butterfly Shinobi appeared in front of his eyes. Yo, Shinobu, why are you here? Mr. Yiming, I have successfully upgraded. Butterfly said with a smile on his face. Oh? So fast? Congratulations. Li Yiming was a little surprised. Although he probably knew that his method was very good, he never expected that the effect would be so good. It took only half a month for Daiji to succeed. The upgrade is another sensational news. The record for the fastest leveling up of adventurers has been broken one after another. If adventurers from other families know about this, they will definitely cry. Similarly, endless troubles followed. After all, lower-level adventurers are the most numerous among Orario, and there are very few humans who can become upper-level adventurers, but they are also very effective. Whether it is the proficiency required for ability value or the great achievements required for leveling up, it is not so easy to obtain. So if other family members know that this kind of thing exists, they will definitely try their best to find out the news, and then use it on themselves. It's a pity that Butterfly Ninja's progress may be replicated, but not everyone can. At least you have to be able to survive a large number of monsters, and there is a high-level adventurer to escort you, and then add a magician with healing magic, and a valuable medicinal bath. It is indispensable. This kind of treatment is not something that any adventurer can have. Even if this situation is exposed in the end, the final answer will only disappoint everyone. Did you level up so quickly? Shinobu, you are really amazing. Although you are not as good as Yiming, it is already very exaggerated. You know, Olalai's fastest record is 1 year. One or two of you it can be upgraded in less than a month. It is too shocking. Even though he said that, Tsubaki didn't feel discouraged. In fact, the more senior adventurers the family has, the better it is for her as the leader, which means that she can hand over more complicated affairs to other members, and she can assign more time and energy are spent on forging. There is no so-called intrigue in the He Faith family, and the relationship between all members is very good. The leader is too exaggerated. In fact, it is because of Yiming Jun's help that I can upgrade so quickly. Otherwise, I don't know how long it will take if I rely on myself. Tisk, I really don't know what's so good about this kid. There are so many beautiful girls around him, and... He was about to continue to say something, but reason still made Tsubaki stop his words. It's better not to make arrangements for your own Lord Shangshen behind your back. However, she probably already guessed Li Yiming's future life. It will definitely not be so easy, maybe some interesting things will happen. Thinking of this, Tsubaki's face suddenly revealed a look of gloating. Hey, what kind of eyes are you? You are planning me in your heart. Li Yiming, who had a panoramic view of all this, rolled his eyes helplessly. I thought I could take you to see forging in other worlds in the future. The technique, I had a little exchange with some forging masters, but now it seems that there is no need for this. How can I do that? Forging is my lifelong pursuit. If you don't take me with you, then I will die with you. Hearing this, Chun suddenly became a little anxious. However, what responded to her was Li Yiming's playful look, but you seem to be unable to beat me, and you can't pass through the gate of the world without my permission, so your threat is completely useless to me. Effect. It's such a pity, you probably won't have the chance to see the beautiful scenery of the different world and all kinds of miraculous experiences, but it doesn't matter, anyway, you have dedicated all of yourself to forging, and you have always been interested in these things, not interested either. As expected, you are the human being I admire the most. Your will is too firm, and I still need to learn more from you. While talking, Li Yiming sighed, pretending to be regretful. Butterfly Ninja on the side could naturally see that he was playing tricks, and couldn't help covering his mouth and chuckling, but soon realized that his behavior was very inappropriate, and quickly restrained his smile. No, Chun already clenched his teeth and glared at Li Yiming viciously. The latter stood where he was, with the corners of his lips slightly raised, and he looked indescribably comfortable. After a while, Tsubaki finally lost the battle first. Okay, it's my problem. Okay, I apologize to you. I shouldn't arrange yours. You have a lot of adults, don't care about it like a little woman like me. Rubbing Li Yiming's arm with his shoulder, Chun's voice was no longer rough as before. Although there is still a long way to go to act like a baby, Li Yiming is probably the only one besides He Faith who can make this one-eyed master show this little girl attitude. Seeing this scene, the corners of his mouth became even more curved, and he felt an indescribable joy in his whole being. It's rare to see a stick like this. It's really indescribable excitement. As expected, he is also a fun guy. Cough, for the sake of your sincerity, leader, if there is a chance next time, I will take you with me. After all, forging is impossible. Day-to-day work and rest is also very important. Hee, thank you so much. After getting this kind of response, Chun breathed a sigh of relief, but at the same time began to get angry. However, having already seen what he wanted to see, Li Yiming will not continue to argue with her, humming the tune of his previous life, and continuing to prepare for the evening banquet. Want food? When I touched a soft nail, I could only hum softly. Witnessing the interaction between the two with his own eyes, Butterfly Shinobi smiled again. A thought appeared in the girl's mind. Leaving her original world and coming to this world where gods and monsters coexist seemed not as bad as imagined. After collecting all the materials needed and recovering the main character's body, maybe she can do some things she wants to do. Xiaoren, don't be in a daze, hurry up and help, everyone will be back later. The voice not far away brought Dai Ren back from his thoughts, and then smiled sweetly, I see, Mr. Yiming, I'm here to help. After the voice fell, the girl quickly walked into the kitchen. As night fell, Butterfly Chana Hui and others also returned to the family residence. The situation was the same as before, the girl's face remained haggard, coupled with the blood stains on her clothes, she looked a little embarrassed. It can be seen from here that it is not so easy to be an adventurer. Licking blood on the tip of the knife every day, besides being exhausted to death, the income may not be very good. The only advantage is probably having power that ordinary people don't have. Li Yiming saw all this in his eyes, and then a thought came to his mind. Perhaps the medicated bath can be popularized, so that Butterfly Chanahui and the others can take a good soak every night, which is good for both physical recovery and physical exercise. Of course, that's all for later. Probably to welcome the arrival of Loki's family, Goddess He Faith attended today in full dress, wearing a Chien Li's red dress, showing off her beautiful figure. Highlighted. Hard, fist hard. After a while, members of the Loki family appeared in sight. The leader is Loki with a smile on his face, but in the eyes of Li Yiming, the smile on the face of this famous god of tricks is always a bit malicious. Hey, Fi Fei, long time no see. As soon as the front foot stepped into the residence of He Faith's family, Loki raised his right hand and greeted He Faith impatiently. At the same time, her eyes swept over everyone on the scene, and her tightly squinted eyes revealed a surprise that no one else could see at all. Are these the new children you recruited, Fi Fei? They really have potential. It's just luck, hurry up and sit down, the dinner party is ready. Faith also showed a faint smile on his face, and brought Loki into the banquet hall. The people who accompanied Luoji this time were almost all the mainstays of Luoji's family. Except for Grace who didn't come, people including Finn, Riveria, Ace, Dithana, Dione, Bird, and Rifia arrived at the scene. Everyone is wearing gorgeous formal clothes, as if it is really a special day. Entering the banquet hall, the eyes of Isai and Diona fell on Li Yiming in an instant, and the two girls trotted all the way to the latter's side, with a hint of joy in their eyes. Master, good evening. Good evening, Ace, Diona, you are here, sit down wherever you want, knowing that Loki is coming, the time is not rushed, so I just prepared some home-cooked dishes, I can't take care of you. Joe, please don't see me outside. Li Yiming looked at the two girls in front of him with a gentle face, and greeted everyone warmly. However, when his eyes fell on Loki, the smile on his face suddenly became very stiff. This god's malicious eyes, or in other words, the eyes full of malice have hardly concealed the slightest concealment, and they fell on him unscrupulously. Chapter 112 Expedition Invitation. Malice from the God of Trickery. Thanks for the monthly pass of Little Bag of Dead House. Loki's gaze swept across Li Yiming's body unscrupulously. The feeling of malice made the latter shrink his neck subconsciously. The feeling of being targeted by the gods is not as wonderful as imagined, especially being targeted by the god of tricks. Even if the other party has sealed the divine power now, but he has lived for hundreds of millions of years anyway, Li Yiming has no confidence to deal with that brain alone, and it is said that the gods cannot use divine power in the lower realm, but who knows if it is true, it is only Fu Lea has violated the rules a lot. If it is not necessary, it is better not to be targeted by the gods. It may not be the favor of the gods that ushered in like that, but it may be endless troubles. Oh, is this the master that Aisitan is talking about? What a strange face. Fi Fei, is this also a newcomer to your family? I have never seen it before. It sounds very plain, but everyone can hear a feeling of gnashing of teeth. It's true that he joined my family not long ago, but he became Master Sword Fairy or something. I've never heard of such a thing. Knowing how much Loki loves Ace, He-Faith smiled helplessly. However, nothing too serious should happen. After all, she had heard from Tsubaki that the relationship between the two did not cross the boundary between men and women, so even if the relationship was a little closer, there was no reason for Loki to turn his face. It's also for her sake, so forget it. The prerequisite is that no substantive relationship really takes place. Are you really a newcomer? Then I'm really curious, why can Aisidan and Diona be so willing to worship you as a teacher? Do you have any special skills? When he said this, Loki immediately leaned in front of Li Yiming, squinting his eyes and smiling. However, that gaze full of scrutiny and threats was not as friendly as she seemed on the surface. Li Yiming can fully believe that if this place is not in the Faith family, Loki might have ordered his children to take him down long ago. Wow! The death stare didn't last too long, and Loki had changed from a domineering look to a humble one, squatting on the ground with his head covered. Riveria, who was still very beautiful today, slowly withdrew her fist, looking very serious. That's really rude, Loki. What are you doing, mother? Don't call me mom. Riveria's tone was still full of sternness, and then she looked at Faith and Li Yiming at the side, with a faint apology on her face. I'm really sorry, God of Faith, Li Yiming. Mr. Yiming, we are a little rude. No, it's too serious, Riveria. He-Faith shook his head. Don't talk about these things, everyone finally got together today, so don't discuss other things, just sit down first, and talk about other things after the banquet is over. Hearing this sentence, everyone at the scene nodded and sat down at the dining table one after another. The atmosphere at the scene was a bit weird, although with the restrictions of Riveria, Loki's eyes were slightly restrained, but his eyes were still scanning back and forth on Li Yiming. Fortunately, although the atmosphere is a bit strange, it is still acceptable. As time passed, the banquet gradually drew to a close. Butterfly Connie, Butterfly Shinobu and others started to get busy, cleaning up the messy cups and plates on the dining table, while Goddess He-Faith invited Loki to sit aside. So, can we get down to business now? Facing Loki's question, He-Faith nodded without hesitation. Of course, it's no problem. I've heard the general situation from Tsubaki. If you have any questions, just ask. I believe Yiming character would not do that kind of thing. Well, it seems that this little guy is really loved by you. At this moment, Loki's heart was also full of surprise, and she was a little angry at first, but now it seems that she has to examine the man in front of her a little bit. Loki would never believe that the existence that could be recognized by Ice and Tiona, and who was willing to be a teacher, was just a low-level adventurer. Perhaps, there is really something special about this guy. Yiming, please explain it to Loki. No problem, Shangshen Tianren. Naturally, Li Yiming would not offend her red-haired goddess. I saw him take a few steps forward, and told everything about the safety floor that day, including walking and running to the waterfall, and then having a misunderstanding with Aisi and others, etc. His expression didn't change at all, not even his heartbeat. Neither her Faith nor Loki felt the taste of lying. There is no way for an adventurer to lie in front of the gods, that is to say, this is the truth. He-Faith couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief, with a faint smile on his face again. How is it? Loki, there shouldn't be any problems now, right? Since it's a misunderstanding, let's forget about it. Even if he wanted to trouble Li Yiming, in front of He-Faith, Loki couldn't make trouble unreasonably, Jada, so he could only curl his lips unwillingly and choose to give up. However, after going back, Ace must definitely sever ties with this guy. She will never let go of any man who wants to attack Aisi. Okay, now that this matter has been resolved, let's talk about the real thing next. Faith took up the tea in front of her, took a sip, raised her eyes and continued to ask, "Are you so anxious to talk to me? Contact, there must be something important, right? As expected of you, Fifa, I really can't hide anything from you." After patted and invisible flattery, Loki's expression also became serious, "But I'm not involved in this matter, let my team leader discuss it with you. Leave it to me, Loki." After hearing this sentence, Finn, who had been silent all this time, walked forward quickly. The man in front of him is petite and has a handsome face, but he has an extraordinary bearing, and the faint aura on his body makes people dare not underestimate him at all. This is one of the top adventurers in Orario. "Excuse me, God he Faith, in fact, we are here this time because we have a very important matter and want to cooperate with your family." "Oh? We are a craftsman family. If there is any big order, we will naturally welcome it. But if I remember correctly, you Loki family should cooperate more closely with the Gubernian family, so why not go find them?" There is no intention of saving face at all. He Faith has doubts in his heart. "It's like this. Our Loki family is planning to go on an expedition, so we need blacksmiths to enter the dungeon together. It may reach a depth of 40 or 50 floors. The Gubernian family has an advantage in forging, but the members of the family the level is not enough. It is very dangerous to follow a large army." Finn explained the specific situation clearly in a few words. "It turns out that in terms of adventurer level, other artisan families really can't compare with us." Faith showed a clear expression, and her eyes stayed on Tsubaki and Li Yiming intentionally or unintentionally. With this group of existence, it is true that it is related to other craftsmen. "Well, I have basically handed over to Tsubaki the management matters related to the family, so if you have any needs, you should talk to her." Faith, who didn't want to think too much, finally left the decision to Tsubaki. Although she is the main god of the family, she is not willing to decide on behalf of her children, whether to participate in the expedition of other families. All of this depends on their own decisions. "So, Your Excellency Tsubaki, what do you mean?" Everyone's eyes turned towards Tsubaki's direction. After the latter pondered for a moment, he scratched his head in a little distress, and the whole person had fallen into deep hesitation. Although some want to participate in the expedition, it takes too long to return. It was at least a week. If something unexpected happened, it might take longer. In comparison, she actually preferred to stay in the station to make equipment. "Your Excellency Tsubaki, we want to hire craftsmen from the Faith Familia to participate in the expedition. During the expedition, we will be responsible for the maintenance of the equipment. Whether it is the various materials needed during the expedition or your safety issues, we Loki the family will take full responsibility. Of course, regarding the issue of remuneration, we can pay 30% of the precious materials and special drops obtained during the expedition. What do you think?" Equals. Hearing this, Chun's eyes widened instantly. In Orario, the powerful family members whose main job is to conquer dungeons will carry out an expedition on a regular basis. In the dungeon, which is the main means of profit for adventurers, the lower you go, the greater the danger factor of the monsters that appear, and at the same time, the corresponding rewards are higher. To put it simply, an expedition is an act in which almost all the members of the family's main combat force are dispatched to raid the deep dungeon in order to obtain rich rewards. Of course, there is also a kind of honor in it. The deeper a certain family member enters the dungeon, the stronger the family member's strength is, and the Loki family member is a large organization that is very keen on this kind of behavior. Compared with other family members, they prefer to rely on teamwork to advance. During this period, the consumption of the expedition was enormous. Although many weapons have the attribute of not bad, even if they are not bad, their sharpness will still be damaged after long-term use, so regular maintenance is still required. This is probably also the reason why the He Faith family is required to participate. Although the consumption of the expedition is huge, the rewards are also huge. According to the strength of the Loki family, it is absolutely no problem to enter the 4th and 50 floors. Just doing equipment maintenance work, you can get 30% of the income. No matter how you think about it, it is not a loss. What's more, she can also obtain some precious materials, which are difficult for her to obtain alone. She usually needs to spend money to buy them, and she can't enter such a deep floor by herself. Now she can collect a batch of precious materials. The material, no matter how you look at it, is a good deal. For a moment, Tsubaki was a little moved. "My lord, what do you think?" To be on the safe side, she asked her faith for his opinion. "I have no objection, you can go if you want, although no one will be able to take care of the family after you leave, but I have rested for a long time, so I will take over with reluctance, and you can also take this opportunity to collect some rare materials. I also have some ideas recently, I want to implement them." He. "Got it, Lord Shangshen." Chun suddenly laughed dryly, and quickly agreed. "In the end, it turned out that my hands were itchy. Do I need a batch of materials to try? It really has the style of forging a goddess. But if you look at it this way, it is true. It is really necessary to collect a batch of forging materials. Although the artisan family is very profitable, the demand for resources is also very large. After all, the resources of each member of the family need to be allocated reasonably. Since you are full of sincerity, Captain Finn, I will not be disrespectful. I agree to the employment of Loki's family, but unfortunately, most of the family members are absent recently, so therefore, I should be the only one who can be responsible for equipment maintenance. Now that we have talked about cooperation openly and honestly, then naturally we cannot have reservations." Hearing this, Finn was obviously taken aback, and the brows on that gentie's face were also slightly frowned. Things were a little bit beyond expectations, although Tsubaki's forging technology is the best in the entire Olelai. Second to none, but the equipment lost during the expedition must be huge. Can one person really be busy? Your Excellency Tsubaki, don't the He Faith family have any idle craftsmen besides you? Yes, there is. Lord Shangshen has recently recruited a group of fairly good swordsmiths, but their strength is too weak to participate in the expedition at all. The words of those who are temporarily available. Besides me, there is probably only this brat Yiming. Yiming is very talented in forging, but he has never dealt with first-level weapons, but repairing or forging other weapons is still easy. Oh! As soon as these words came out, not only Finn was pleasantly surprised, but also attracted Loki's attention. The god of trickery who had calmed down suddenly had an idea in his mind, and the smile on his face became even weirder, like a cunning fox. Since there are two craftsmen, there is no problem. At worst, the one-eyed giant will be responsible for the equipment maintenance of Finn and your top-level combat power, and that kid will be responsible for the next-level equipment. Maintenance is not enough. Loki pretended to be serious and made a suggestion from the side. This kid is so valued by Fei, it's not a problem to think about self-protection, and Finn and the others are here to protect his safety. Naturally, there is no problem, 2 craftsmen are barely enough, it is better than nothing. Very reasonable words made everyone nod their heads. However, 3 people at the scene heard the deep meaning in Loki's words. One is her faith, one is Reveria, and the other is Ji Yiming himself. The 2 rolled their eyes almost at the same time, but they would not turn their faces at this time. Although Loki's character is very bad, Reveria still wants to give face to her master. As for Faith and Li Yiming, they don't care even more. After all, the red-haired goddess is very familiar with this little guy who can pull his heartstrings, and the picture of the completely invisible value on the opponent's ability value is still vivid in his mind at this moment. Even if you participate in the expedition, there is absolutely no problem with self-protection. Therefore, Loki's conspiracy this time may end in failure. When the expedition is over, the expression of this guy with a very bad personality must be very interesting. I really want to record that scene. So, Yiming, what's your opinion? Chun turned around and asked Li Yiming for his opinion. The latter thought for a moment, then nodded lightly. I am willing to join this expedition, just as the training for Isai and the others has come to an end. Now there is such a good. Naturally, I will not refuse the opportunity to make great achievements, so please give me your advice. That's really great. The expedition is 3 days away. During this time, I would like to trouble Your Excellency Chun and Your Excellency Li Yiming to prepare well. We will gather outside the Tower of Barbada. There was a faint smile on Finn's face, but Loki's smile was almost uncontrollable. Li Yiming chuckled in his heart, ignored this unpredictable guy, but nodded at the same time as Chun, expressing that he would be well prepared. Immediately afterwards, the two sides exchanged some details. In the end, it was because Aisi and Iona stood beside Li Yiming, which attracted Loki's unreasonable troubles, which made the discussion suddenly stop and had to leave. In the banquet hall, there were only members of Hetfaith's family left. Yiming, are you sure there will be no problem? Judging by your appearance, are you planning to expose your strength? I was worried about lack of strength before, but now it is no longer a concern. I have been silent for such a long time, and it is time to come out and do some activities. P.S. I'm not feeling well today, so I didn't add more updates. I'm really sorry. Chapter 113 Decomposer. Colorless Crystals. The expedition begins. Thanks for the monthly pass of Menhong Chen Past. Li Yiming accepted the expedition invitation of the Loki family without hesitation. As for why, he also thought about it carefully. Since someone is willing to help the Faith Familia collect the advanced materials needed for forging, why refuse? What's more, he also wants to go through this expedition to see what level he has reached. As for whether or not the real strength will be exposed, it is not particularly important. All the gods have been sealed with divine power, so there is probably no one in Oleli who is a threat to him. Stare at the problem. Aware of Li Yiming's firm attitude, Faith didn't try to dissuade her too much. Since you have made up your mind, I won't ask too many questions, but the expedition is very dangerous. Although you are powerful, it is the first time. You must pay attention to safety. In addition, help me protect Chun. I hope I can see you two coming back safely. Do you hear me? When she said this, Goddess He Faith had a serious expression on her face. Seeing this, Li Yiming didn't dare to continue to play around, but nodded solemnly and made a promise without hesitation. Don't worry, Lord Shangshen, the leader and I will definitely come back intact, will not make you sad. This is an agreement between me and you. That's good, let's prepare well these few days. Saying that, her Faith turned and left the banquet hall without hesitation. Let's stop here for today, everyone. You've been tired all day, go back and rest early. Li Yiming clapped his hands, and got nods from the others, and then everyone turned around and left the banquet hall with different expressions, and walked towards their respective rooms. But he himself did not return to the bedroom, but walked towards Faith's lounge. Soon, Li Yiming arrived at the door. Boom boom boom. Who is it? This time the red-haired goddess' response was completely different from the previous ones. She didn't let Li Yiming in directly, but instead asked Li Yiming in the room. Although slightly surprised, Li Yiming responded softly. It's me, Lord Shangshen. I suddenly remembered a very important matter. I want to discuss it with you. Is it convenient now? After a moment of silence in the room, the wooden door was suddenly pulled open. The beautiful goddess in formal attire had disappeared, and what appeared in front of Li Yiming at this time was Faith, who had changed into casual attire. After seeing him, the red-haired goddess opened the door a little, then turned around and walked into the house. Tell me, what is it that came to me so late? Sitting back on the bed again, Faith picked up the book on the side and silently flipped through it. You won't tell me that you have obtained another world? Are you qualified to open the door? That's not true. In fact, there is a good thing. Why don't you show it to Lord Shangshen? Hey, this is it. After the voice fell, with Li Yiming gently waving his hand, a not too big, but not too small machine appeared in the room. Since it hadn't started, it was quietly placed on the ground at this time. What is this? Did you find a machine from Connie and the others' world? Faith, who was still full of expectations, completely disappeared after seeing this ugly thing. She has seen a lot of this kind of machine, and she has found a lot of it for research, and she has gained a lot of inspiration from it. Even the family's forging business has been slightly improved. It can be said that the benefits of the different world are very huge. And it has a huge impact on them. Now Li Yiming has come up with a machine of unknown use, which makes Hertos completely uninterested. Master Shangshen, don't worry, this is the decomposition machine I got before. Put the weapons and equipment in it, it can completely destroy it, and then decompose some special things. I was too busy before I forgot about this thing, I haven't tried it yet. Decomposer. Hearing this sentence, Faith Toss reacted. So, you didn't find this from Connie and the others' world, but you got it from another world. Well, if you say that, there is nothing wrong with it. This is indeed a very magical disassembly machine. After putting weapons and equipment in it, I don't even know what I can get, but the only thing that is certain is that as long as you are lucky enough, you can indeed get some good things. Really? I'm a little bit interested, so let's try it out. Intrigued by Li Yiming's description, Faith closed the book, got up and came to Li Yiming's side, knelt down and looked at the thing in front of her curiously. The slender palm tapped lightly on it, but did not find out why. However, I still found that the various characters carved on the decomposition machine in front of me are completely different from Olelai's characters, but possess the same power as the sacred characters. Is this a product of another world? Faith, who is really yearning for new knowledge, wants to reach the world produced by the decomposition machine at this moment, and learn about its power well. It's such an exquisite depiction of magic. No, I can't understand it at all. After trying for a while, Faith shook his head with some regrets. His divine power was sealed, and it would be too difficult to figure out the structure of the seasons with just eyesight. Even if she was a little happy to see the hunter, Faith didn't want to be sent back to the heaven. Don't pay too much attention to this kind of thing, Lord Shangshen, you just need to know that this thing is very useful. Not only can waste be used, but it may also give you some unexpected gains. As if coaxing a child, Faith rolled her eyes angrily. The red-haired goddess also had some expectations in her heart. I saw that she opened the bookshelf in the room straight away, and behind it was a wide forging room, with many weapons hanging in it. Judging from the luster on these weapons, there is no doubt that they are all high-quality goods, all of which are from Forge the Hand of the Goddess. Her Faith took one hand away and returned to the room with it. I just barely believe what you said. Try it with this knife, but if the situation you said doesn't happen, you are going to work for me honestly to pay off the debt. As she spoke, her Faith gave Li Yiming a malicious look. The latter didn't feel the slightest bit of fear at all, but felt that his goddess was very cute, and couldn't help but chuckled, which again aroused the dissatisfaction of the goddess. Ahem, don't worry, Lord Shangshen, I will never lie to you. It's better like this. How to use this thing? Hearing this, Li Yiming moved his gaze to the decomposition machine. To be honest, Faith's question really stumped him. Since he got it, he has never tried it at all, and he doesn't know how to use it. However, just try it a little and you will know. Leave it to me to handle. As he spoke, Li Yiming took the weapon away from Goddess Faith's hand. During this period, he inadvertently felt the soft and smooth little hands of the red-haired goddess, but the latter did not express the slightest sign. This undoubtedly made him very happy, but he didn't dare to be too presumptuous, and even started to get down to business. It should be so. Put your right hand on the disassembly machine, and a blue magic circle appears above the machine instantly. This should be the place to place the weapons and equipment to be disassembled. Li Yiming subconsciously placed the weapon in his hand on it. The next moment, the magic circle burst into light, and the weapon disappeared in an instant, followed by a sound like metal breaking in the decomposition machine. Are you sure you can really disassemble that weapon? Hearing this sound, Goddess Faith's face showed doubts again. Although there is a lot of movement, there is no doubt that it will be successful. Don't worry, Lord Shangshen. Next, you just need to wait for the result 0118111019 #234300490. Li Yiming smiled awkwardly, and there was also a drum in his heart. He was really afraid that the decomposition machine would suddenly make trouble for him. When it was put in, the size was so big, but when it was carried out, you put it here and it turned upside down. The gap between the front and the back is really worrying. Fortunately, the decomposition machine did not disappoint in the end. After a while, the deafening sound stopped abruptly, and then the familiar magic circle reappeared, and a bunch of things were thrown out of the decomposition machine and fell to the ground. The decomposition process is apparently over. Is this the end? Faith was slightly surprised. The weapons have disappeared, replaced by this pile of things. One person and one god squatted down at the same time, and began to fiddle with the items in front of them. Many of the materials were dropped from the monsters in the dungeon, but at the same time, there were some things they didn't recognize at all. What is this? Suddenly discovering something, Faith reached out and picked up a gray stone as a whole, and looked at it carefully in his hand, and then his expression suddenly changed. Magic stone? No, the energy in it is much purer than the magic stone. Even the magic stone dropped by the floor master can't compare with it. The magic power contained in it is too pure and docile. As if extracted from nature. Yiming, do you know what this is? From the urgent tone, one can see Faith's mood at this time. The appearance of this kind of object capable of overturning cognition made this god who lived for hundreds of millions of years very curious. She yearned for more knowledge and more fun. Now, isn't it already delivered to your door? Don't worry, Lord Shangshen, let me have a look first before talking. Being slightly changed by Faith's movements, in order to avoid losing control, he quickly straightened the red-haired goddess in front of him, and after a sigh of relief, he stretched out his hand to take the gray stone in the opponent's hand. It is more appropriate to say that it is a stone, rather than a block. After looking carefully, Li Yiming's expression became a little weird. This angular block, coupled with the magical energy contained in it, and it was spit out from the decomposition machine, there may be only one answer. *yen. It should be a small colorless crystal. This is a kind of magical stone that contains magical power that only exists in the mutated space. Regardless of its size, it always maintains a square shape, and its effect can be said to be quite large. It is obviously a specialty of the continent of Arad, but I didn't expect to be able to obtain it using disintegrators in other worlds. It's really hard to know what to say. Yiming, why are you in a daze? Do you recognize this stone? Seeing that Li Yiming fell into a sluggish state, her Faith's voice sounded again, which immediately brought him back from his doubts and thoughts. Come on. I should know this stone. Li Yiming nodded quickly. Its real name is a small colorless crystal block, which contains pure magical energy, which can directly guide and use it, and it can also be used to forge equipment. However, there may be another way to use it. Maybe it can directly absorb the magic energy inside, maybe it can stay in your body. Feeling the magical energy surging inside the small colorless crystal block, Li Yiming's expression was very surprised. He really has this feeling that he can fully use the magical energy in the small colorless crystal block without any damage. This energy is really too docile. Is it still possible to do this? Doesn't that mean? Her faith's face suddenly revealed an expression of surprise, with disbelief written all over her face. Of course she understood the meaning of Li Yiming's words. If it is really possible to condense magic power and spiritual power through the small colorless crystal block, then there is no doubt that this will be a big impact on Ollery. Magisters may not even need to enter the dungeon to level up, they only need to have small colorless crystals. There is no doubt that this is not what the gods want to see. This small colorless crystal block must not be circulated, otherwise Ollery will fall into chaos. Do you understand what I mean? Of course, I won't give this kind of thing to others, it's good for our own family to use it. Li Yiming shrugged, indicating that he was very clear. Hearing this, Faith also nodded slightly, and then turned her attention to the disintegrator. She is now aware of how precious this thing is. This surprise is really big enough. Yiming, you will go on an expedition in a few days, and you probably don't have any extra time, so can I study this decomposition machine for a while? Of course there is no problem, then let it be lent to Lord Shangshen for your use. Naturally, Li Yiming would not refuse her faith's request. After all, he was also someone who had a glimpse of fangs, of course he would not be stingy, and the purpose of taking this thing out, wasn't it for use? Maybe her faith can get something unexpected from it. Because of the binding, Li Yiming gave the permission to Goddess Hedos, and then stayed for a while before leaving the room. 3 days passed quietly. In the early morning, the sun has not yet fully risen. In the central square near the Tower of Babel, there are already some sparse pedestrians starting to walk. This time is not the time for adventurers to work. However, a mighty force has emerged outside the Tower of Babel. Although there were not many people in the square, the mighty team was still captured by others. After all, with such a huge team, it is impossible not to be discovered. Hey, did I read it wrong? That badge is the Loki Familia. All the pedestrians who were walking, the little drowsiness that existed because of the early morning, was completely dispelled at this time, and everyone became full of energy. There is no doubt that the Loki family is the most powerful family among Orario. In the entire Orario family, except for the Freya family, there is no other family that can compare with it. This also caused every move of the two families to cause all adventures. Attention! Now that so many members gather outside the Tower of Babel, is this an expedition? This is definitely big news. The surrounding noises did not distract the members of the Loki family. All of them were checking their belongings at this time, and their expressions were full of confidence and expectation. The official first expedition is about to begin now. All of them are witnesses, and this is a moment that symbolizes the honor of the family. Almost all members of the Loki family are excited and full of energy, wanting to show their strengths. At this moment, the danger of the dungeon has been completely forgotten by them. Not far away, Deo body appeared around the square after washing. Tisk, I have to say that this kind of picture really makes people feel excited. It's really easy to empathize with the posture of an army going out. Looking at the situation in the square, Li Yiming couldn't help expressing such emotion. Chun on the side also nodded in agreement. Indeed, to be honest, I have never formally conducted an expedition, and this feeling is really complicated. Where? Chapter 114 The Powerful Loki Family. Tacit Teamwork. Thanks to J5 for the reward. Then send it here. Looking back, Li Yiming looked at the worried butterfly Connie, and said with a light smile, "Don't worry about me and the leader, Connie, we will return from the dungeon in at most 2 weeks, during this time just remember to take care of yourself." Understood, Yiming, please be careful. Butterfly Chanahui exhorted solemnly. This appearance is just like the husband going out and the wife coming to see him off. Butterfly on the side couldn't stand it anymore, and said immediately, Sister, don't worry about Yiming Jun, his strength is much stronger than our impression, so this kind of worry is completely unnecessary. Xiao Ren is right, don't worry about us. By the way, remember to soak in the medicinal bath list I left for you every night. It is of great benefit to your body, so that you can upgrade faster and reach deeper floors. After all, the medicinal materials that God Mihi needs have not been assembled yet. Chi is not, work hard. I know, Yiming, we will work hard. Having said that, Butterfly Connie also showed a grateful expression on her face. To be honest, Li Yiming has already provided enough help. It is impossible to even need all the materials provided by the other party. They, the former pillars of the ghost-killing team, have to complete what they should do. Then let's go first. After waving at Butterfly Connie, Butterfly Shinobi, and Liwalugo Kanahua, Li Yiming turned around and walked towards the Loki family together with Tsubaki. They can't wait too. Going straight to the front of the team, Finn is coordinating the team's situation at this time, Grace is also assisting at the side, and even Riveria is organizing the mage group at this time. At this time, no one dares to be sloppy. After all, expeditions are no more leveling than usual, and the level of danger is much higher. Coupled with the large number of entourages, proper coordination must be carried out. Otherwise, if 487 encounters a powerful monster on the way and causes confusion in the team, the result may be a group off. It should be said that it is indeed the brain of the Loki family, Finn's talent in command is simply not too high. This alone makes Li Yiming have to admire him. However, every time I saw him, I would feel a very strange emotion. The prototype of Finn's character is the legendary hero in Celtic mythology, Finn McCool, who is also the sufferer who was robbed of his fiancée by Brother Brush. And now, Li Yiming also has a mole of love, and Chin of the Loki family likes Finn very much, which makes his mood even more strange. This feeling is really weird. For this reason, he has not dared to open the mole of love recklessly until now. Even if Shin's adventurer level is LV5, and her development ability also has abnormal resistance, no one can guarantee that this girl will be immune to this magic. So in order to avoid weird things from happening, it would be better to be a little restrained. Yo, Finn, here we come. Just when Li Yiming was thinking wildly, Chun took the initiative to greet Finn. The latter turned around immediately, and when he saw Li Yiming and Chun, a gentle smile appeared on his face. Your Excellency Chun, Your Excellency Li Yiming, you are finally here. Should we not come to play? Li Yiming also asked with a smile. Of course, there is still a while before the agreed time. The equipment maintenance work for this expedition will be troublesome to you too. When he said this, Finn's expression was very serious. Seeing this, Li Yiming and Chun also restrained their joking demeanor, and nodded at the same time. Don't worry, leave it to us, this is our job. Very well, since everyone is here, let's go now. While speaking, Finn drew out the long sword at his waist and gave the order to formally march. Oh! All the members of the Loki family cheered at the same time, and everyone's eyes were shining with fiery light. They couldn't wait for a long time. Seeing this, Li Yiming shook his head lightly. He doesn't particularly like this kind of hot-blooded behavior, but taking people's money to eliminate disasters, since he has agreed to participate in the expedition, he will naturally not regret it. For activities like expeditions, maybe they need to organize them occasionally. However, those are all things that need to be done in the future. As for now, let's paddle honestly and see if he can meet the monster he likes on the way. If you can accumulate enough great achievements during this expedition, that would be great. There is a characteristic of the dungeon. Except for a very few floors, most of the time, the deeper the floor, the larger the area of the floor. When reaching the 40th floor, it is said that the area is already comparable to the entire orario. Simply put, it is similar to a conical or pyramidal structure. Since the area between the entrance and the first floor is not too large, it is obviously unrealistic for all the members of the Loki family to enter at once, so they can only divide the team and enter it in batches, and they cannot choose the same for the passage. You only need to lead the teams down, and then gather on a certain floor with a large enough area. This is also a powerful family like the Loki family with a large number of adventurers. If it was another Hestia family, where would the expedition need to be so troublesome? They would basically enter and leave together. Li Yiming and Chun were assigned to the second team, that is, the team led by Reveria. There are quite a few elves in the team, probably because of Reveria's name and identity. They have a longing for her, so they join the Loki family. Although the level of these elf adventurers is not high, but because of their race, they are very good at magic. If this group releases magic together, the oppressive force is not something ordinary people can bear. This is also the horror of the Loki family. Place. After all, this is the family that is best at teamwork in the entire Olelai. So under this kind of firepower, the team was hardly hindered in the slightest, and they advanced to the middle level very easily. The area that was very dangerous in the past is now as easy as a primary school student on a spring outing. A team of all senior adventurers pushed almost all the monsters they encountered along the way. The wizards don't even need to do anything, just the forwards of the second team and the adventurers on the side are enough to deal with these weak monsters. Skillful and tacit cooperation, not even injured. Good guy, I finally saw a real team to play a dungeon. All kinds of tanks go up to take damage, and then output a fatal attack. This is what an adventurer should look like. Looking at the adventurers who are fighting monsters, Li Yiming couldn't help but exclaim in his heart. The warrior with the shield bears the impact of the monster, and then the warriors crouching behind take advantage of the exhaustion and stiffness of the monster, and suddenly shoot and hit its vitals. Every link is completed by someone, and there is a lot of trust between each other, and the links are intertwined, which allows such a large team to move forward in an orderly manner. I have to say that this is probably the charm of the team. Well, you look shocked. Seemingly seeing what Li Yiming was thinking, Chun on the side pushed his arm with his shoulder, and said with great emotion, although I don't want to mention this kind of thing, the Loki family is indeed very powerful. Their being strong is not just about being strong individually, a combined team can exert even greater strength. This is something that even the Freya family can't compare to. It's really surprising, but this way of fighting doesn't suit me. Li Yiming shook his head with a smile, and did not deny the strength of the Loki family. In fact, he knew about this a long time ago. At least in terms of unity, the Freya family really cannot be compared with the Loki family. After all, that clan is very strange. Compared with the so-called unity, they will be more interested in snatching the favor of Freya, the goddess of beauty. However, if there is a fight with real swords and guns, perhaps the Freya family will win the final victory. Although the low-level adventurers in the family may be wiped out, they must be the last laughers. The strength of the violent Aetai is not just talk. In the original book, if there is no bell, maybe only he can be called a real hero. Adventurers have distinct levels. In addition to the basic ability value, the real combat power also has the development ability, skills, and magic. But as the level continues to increase, the gap between adventurers of different levels will also be widened. This gap will become larger when the level is higher. Sometimes, even if low-level adventurers have powerful skills or magic, there is no way to bridge the gap. Therefore, this is also the reason why Freya chose to herd her family, but she was still able to prosper for a long time. As long as there is this Oda, her family will not decline. Soon, the second team led by Reveria reached the 18th floor and successfully merged with the other two teams. The road ahead may not be so smooth. Inside the big tree maze, Groups of adventurers were resisting the attacks of various monsters. Finn and the others did not do anything, but directed everyone's actions with a calm face. Generally speaking, Finn, who is the brain of the team, will not make a move, but observes the changes in the battle situation, and then directs other people to respond immediately. Unless he encounters a monster that is particularly difficult to deal with, he will cope with Reveria and the others. Obviously, that kind of situation will not happen in the big tree maze alone. Li Yiming and Tsubaki have been staying by Reveria's side all the time, watching other people around them fight in full swing. All kinds of magic are flying in the sky, and there are even a few little Karami with shields protecting them. This is completely different. The situation is a little bit strange. I said, Head, don't we really need help? Of course you don't need it. Who do you look down on? This is where you are. Haven't you seen Reveria and didn't do it? It's not that you don't want to, but it's giving other members of the family some opportunities to exercise. Otherwise you think, where do ability, proficiency and great achievements come from? Tsubaki, who was watching the battle, was suddenly interrupted and rolled his eyes angrily. You don't need to worry about these things. We are only here to take care of equipment maintenance. If you want to help, it will be a different price. For it. I really didn't see that Tsubaki would be so realistic. However, since the team leader said so, then Li Yiming will not meddle in other people's business, and just follow the big team honestly. Anyway, he has no interest in these monsters. If it is a monster of LV.5 or even LV.6, maybe it will be exciting. Big tree maze, forget it. Ever since, the whole team traveled through many floors without any risk, and finally sent a large wave of monsters too. After cleaning up, he stopped to rest at the passage leading to the 25th floor. About 10 hours have passed since entering the dungeon. After walking for such a long time, plus experiencing countless battles, even adventurers who have strengthened their abilities feel more or less tired at this time, so in order to cope with for the next battle where the monster's strength is about to increase again, it is necessary to restore the state to the best. Under the command of Finn, the logistics staff of the Loki family began to cook and cook. At the same time, it was time for Li Yiming and Chun to work. A lot of damaged weapons and equipment were sent to the place where the two were, and repairs began in the place where they were simply built. Now, Li Yiming didn't have time to continue talking nonsense. He only now knows why Finn is willing to give a full 30% of the proceeds, and also invites the blacksmith of the Faith family to join this expedition. In high-intensity battles with monsters, the damage to weapons is too serious. In just a short time, Li Yiming received many weapons that were almost completely destroyed, and repairing them was also very troublesome, far inferior to building another identical one. It's a pity that in the dungeon now, there is no such condition at all. After some tiring work, all the equipment that needs to be repaired was finally dealt with. At this time, the supporters of the Loki family built a fire early, and all kinds of simple food were already placed in the pot, and with the rising flames, they continued to boil. At the same time, it also has a very attractive aroma, which affects everyone's heartstrings. Even some adventurers in charge of vigilance look towards the side intentionally or unintentionally at this time. Of course, they still haven't forgotten their respective responsibilities. As we all know, the dungeon is alive, it produces monsters all the time. Let these powerful monsters devour all the adventurers who enter the dungeon alive. It's a pity that because of the existence of the Tower of Babel, the monsters couldn't run to the ground. And in these hundreds of years, after the adventurers continued to explore, they also figured out some general rules of the dungeon. Repairing damaged buildings tends to be a higher priority than hatching monsters. That is to say, if there is no way to successfully reach the safe floor at night, then find a place, and then destroy the wall by hand, and destroy it again before it is about to be repaired. If it is broken, it can effectively prevent the birth of various monsters. You only need to send people to watch the night, and at the same time destroy the walls one after another. At 0.5, you don't need to worry about night attacks from monsters. But, this is only to reduce the hatching probability of monsters. If other monsters wander over from other areas on the floor, there is nothing to do. After a meal rotation, most people start to rest. According to Finn's plan, the first day only needs to reach this level, and tomorrow is the real start of the expedition. Starting from the 25th floor, LV3 level monsters will appear, and both the number and refresh rate are much higher than the upper and middle floors. Therefore, tonight, you must nourish your energy. Except for the night watchman, almost all other adventurers have rested. Although the monsters in the upper and middle layers cannot cause much hindrance, they still consume a lot of energy. Big. What's more, there will be another tough battle tomorrow, and many people are very nervous. Of course, these people did not include Li Yiming. After finishing the equipment maintenance work early, he walked straight to the camp not far from the team, lying on a rock, staring at the ceiling hanging above his head in a daze. In other words, he has been in Oleli for so long, and the span of time from a weak otaku to a powerful and independent adventurer is really big enough. B. Not only that, he even won the favor of the goddess. Although it is necessary to create equipment that surpasses the skills of goddess Faith Hitos in order to make the other party accept his love, Li Yiming, who is full of confidence, is not worried at all. This aspect of the problem. If it was changed to before, this kind of thing is really unthinkable. Maybe it's time to change your goals now? It shouldn't be just to become stronger, the next thing that needs to be done is to find a way to live forever, and then forge powerful equipment. Finally embrace the beauty. Chapter 115. Are young people today so brave? Monthly ticket plus subscription required. In the next few days, under the command of Finn, the team of the Loki family went deep into the dungeon at an extremely fast speed. After the large army entered the 25th floor, the strength of the monsters that appeared suddenly improved, and a large number of LV.3 monsters became more and more oppressive to the team. The vast majority of mages began to participate in the battle, and all kinds of gorgeous magic were flying in the sky. A wave of terrible magic swept across the monster group, and all kinds of elements destroyed all the monsters within the explosion range. This kind of firepower really makes people feel ashamed. It is these magicians alone that other families cannot gather together. Lucky Loki. Being able to let Reveria, who is an elf royal family, join the family, this made other elves flock here, but the method of inviting Reveria to join is not very glorious. With the addition of wizards, the pressure on all fighters dropped instantly. Under this terrible firepower crushing, the team arrived at the 27th floor very smoothly, which is where the second floor master is located, the LV. Li Yiming has never seen this lonely king of the labyrinth, but he still has some basic information. When an faith is refreshed, the Kanglan Lake will have a high tide, and most of the 27th floor will be submerged in the water. Undoubtedly, few adventurers can defeat this dragon in the water. Therefore, it is also called the Labyrinth of Water. However, this monster that sounds very powerful is still not as powerful as imagined. After the knowledgeable domineering sweeps over it back and forth, although the exuberant vitality is a little surprising, its strength is somewhat unsatisfactory. Therefore, Li Yiming had no intention of doing it at all, and still handed it over to the Loki family. Under Isai's strong request, the others agreed to her heads up with Faith Bina. It was originally a 70-30th situation, but because of learning the 6 moves, the probability was raised to 82. The blonde beautiful girl blessed with magic killed the 2-headed dragon after some entanglement. At this moment, the heroic Isai showed her confidence as the strongest female swordsman in Orari, and it also aroused the amazement of others. As a result, Finn and others also had a deeper understanding of Li Yiming's strength. As for the reason, of course it is because of the newly learned skills of Ace. Several skills have obtained such a powerful change, To be honest, this is really surprising. Even though the two-headed dragon, Faith Bina, was classified as LV.6 by the Adventurers Guild due to environmental blessings, the real level is only LV.5. After a brief surprise, the team moved on. Feeling the change in her own strength, AISI was very excited, and even ran to Li Yiming's side on her own initiative, expressing her gratitude very solemnly. At the same time, this cute girl also wants Li Yiming to teach her some tricks. I don't know the reason, it's probably a woman's intuition. AISI always feels that her master is not as simple as it seems on the surface, and his strength is definitely stronger than what he shows. Even if the opponent is LV.1 now, his strength is definitely much higher. It was for this reason that the sword girl was willing to worship a person lower than her level as her teacher. In this regard, although Li Yiming was a bit embarrassed, he did not choose to refuse, but agreed generously. However, the two discussed that they would carry out the second stage of training after returning to Olele. After another rest, the team set off again. Li Yiming followed in the team, with AISI on the left and Chun on the right. I don't know why, but there are no monsters appearing at this moment, probably because of the long-term killing. The hatching of the dungeon has also fallen into a vacuum period. However, Li Yiming's complexion at this time is not particularly good looking. In the past 2 days, he didn't know how many weapons he had repaired. Even with Tsubaki on the side to share the pressure, the number of weapons distributed to each person was still huge, and he almost vomited out. Repeating the same work every day, that kind of experience can be described as very boring. So keep up your spirits, boy. Where is this? After all, he is also an excellent craftsman of the Faith family. Don't show such an expression. Chun patted Li Yiming on the back excitedly, with an indescribable smile on his face. Hearing this sentence, Li Yiming rolled his eyes angrily. He no longer had the energy to bicker, and now he really regretted it a little. There are too many people, the advance speed is slowed down, and the weapons need to be repaired. This makes Li Yiming, who is used to being alone, a little unbearable, but after all, this is something he promised himself. No matter what, he must continue. Where are we? Immediately enter the 37th floor, which is the White Demon Palace, the site of the floor master Udeos. It is a genuine LV.6 level monster, which is not comparable to the Faith Bina I met before. Why, can it be that you finally can't bear it anymore and want to move around? Li Yiming's question made Tsubaki's face suddenly reveal an excited look. Even Isai on the side was taken aback for a moment, then turned her head, with anticipation faintly flickering in her eyes. She also wanted to know what level her master's true strength had reached. Udeos. To be honest, blacksmithing every day is really boring, and it doesn't need to be shot at all. It's a little too boring. If possible, I really want to be active. However, I don't know if Udeos has been refreshed. Roar. Just as Li Yiming's voice fell, a loud roar suddenly came from the front door. Now there is no need to guess at all, just this angry voice can tell that their luck is not bad, and Udeos seems to have been refreshed. Needless to say, this expedition is really strange. Except for Goliath on the 17th floor who did not refresh, whether it was the two-headed dragon Faith Bina on the 27th floor or Udeos on the 37th floor, they were all refreshed, and they were even executed by him. The expeditionary Loki Familia met. What should I say? It should be said that because the floor is too deep, few adventurers can come here? There is probably only one explanation. Good luck, Udeos has really refreshed, but are you sure you can really beat it? But don't get beaten to the bum, and you need other people to save the game. It will be very embarrassing at that time with a grown-up face. It was obviously a normal inquiry, but Li Yiming heard teasing and ridicule from Chun's mouth. My boss, I really like disgusting people. Rolling his eyes angrily, Li Yiming's eyes also had a faint gleam. He moved his shoulders and neck, and then showed an excited expression on his face, Since we just happened to meet, let's give it a try. I just don't know if Finn and the others will agree. Even though he said this, Li Yiming immediately started to move. His figure disappeared in the same place in an instant, so fast that Aisi and Chan couldn't see clearly at all. After a brief surprise, the two women showed different expressions one after another. In an instant, Ji Riming appeared directly at the front of the team. His sudden appearance immediately aroused Finn's nervousness. He even subconsciously pulled out the spear behind him, but when he saw that it was Li Yiming, he breathed a sigh of relief. "So it's your excellency Li Yiming, you suddenly ran up, what's the matter?" Finn's attitude was still full of politeness, but he was taken aback in his heart. His gaze subconsciously met with Grace beside him, and the long-term tacit understanding made the two of them instantly reach a consensus that the man in front of him was definitely not a low-level adventurer. Even the two of them could almost notice the sudden appearance just now, it was so weird. "Captain Finn, I have an unfeeling request. I heard Udeo's roar in the team just now. I want to try it. I wonder if it will be convenient." "Eh? If I understand correctly, Li Yiming, do you want to single out Udeo's?" A look of astonishment suddenly appeared on Gentai's face. And with Li Yiming nodding lightly, this surprised Finn even more. "Anyway, before the expedition, the advance team needs to clear the floor master in advance, so if possible, it's better to give it to me. If I can't handle it, then let Captain Finn handle it. I don't know about this proposal. Is it okay?" Yes, it's just." Hearing this sentence, the corner of Finn's mouth twitched slightly, and he felt a little bad all over. Although he knows that Li Yiming is not as simple as it appears on the surface, it is very likely that he has hidden his level. At least the improvement shown by Aisi is not something that low-level adventurers can do at all. However, you don't hide this at all, isn't it a little too disrespectful? On the surface, you are talking about low-level adventurers, but now you actually want to challenge LV.6 Udeos. Is this too exaggerated? His old qualifications made him a little speechless. "Thank you, Captain Finn, then I'll go there now." Before Finn could respond, Li Yiming disappeared in place in an instant. He had already run a long distance, almost submerged in the passage leading to the 37th floor. "What's the situation, Finn?" Grace asked subconsciously, and he was a little confused now. Are today's young people so brave? What else can happen? We may have underestimated this little brother a little bit, he may be stronger than imagined. Finn's eyes flashed with a deep light, and his expression was full of deep meaning, but to be on the safe side, let's hurry up and take a look, lest anything happen. Leave it to me for the time being. You go up and help that kid hold the battle. After all, he is also the treasure of the Faith family. If he is accidentally folded in the dungeon, it will be a troublesome thing. Grace gave a suggestion in a deep voice, and at the same time got Finn's consent. Then I'll trouble you, I'll go over and see the situation first. As soon as the voice fell, Finn speeded up suddenly, and his whole body turned into a streamer, which directly followed the direction of Li Yiming's departure and disappeared from everyone's sight. Before Grace had time to look back, several figures suddenly came out of the team. Aisi, Tsubaki, Tiona, Shin, and Bert rushed into the passage one after another. Grace was taken aback by the scene, and then a helpless expression appeared on his face. Really, the young people nowadays are really disobedient, but forget it, let them go, they should send an advance team anyway, just let them defeat Udeos. Grace, who was used to doing dirty work, didn't have too many complaints. Everyone, pay attention to the surrounding situation, speed up your progress, and report immediately if any monsters appear. Yes. Li Yiming, who left the team alone, soon entered the 37th floor. Udeos has brushed. Xin, this is a huge monster whose whole body is only a skeleton, with a huge magic stone inlaid on its chest, exuding an astonishing aura all over its body. At first glance, I thought Udeo's was the trumpet of King Bone. But should I say it or not, just this huge figure and terrifying aura are enough to bluff people. The terrifying coercion hit the surroundings, forming a strong wind pressure. It is indeed stronger than in Faith Bina, just this coercion, it is not comparable to the previous stupid dragon, it feels at least several times stronger. When his eyes fell on Udeo's, Li Yiming nodded nonchalantly. This is probably the most powerful monster I have encountered so far, and it does have the aura that a floor master should have. It was chosen above Goliath and Faith Bina. Then it's not a big deal to deal with him personally. Next, let's see what level my strength has reached, and whether I can obtain the great achievements needed to upgrade after defeating this big guy. The appearance of Li Yiming naturally attracted Udeo's attention. This little human being in front of him dared to attack him alone, it was really beyond his control, which made Udeo's, who is the lone king of the labyrinth, feel that he came from the gnats. Ants contempt. The next moment, Udeo's eyes flickered with terrible light, and he let out an astonishing roar, 003. This sound can be heard almost on the entire floor. We don't even know how a monster that doesn't even have vocal cords can make a roar. Maybe this is the convenience of magic power. It doesn't mean that the loud voice is powerful. There is nothing wrong with relying on roaring for output, but it also depends on who the target is. Li Yiming subconsciously plucked his ears, the sudden roar just now almost stunned him. Can't these monsters have a little heart? Every time I see someone, I yell a few words first, and then start attacking, which is really uncreative. Udeo seemed to sense the ridicule from Li Yiming, which made him even angrier. He raised the giant blade in his hand, stared at the latter with his empty eyes, and instantly moved towards. Coming in this direction. So, your lower body is buried in the ground, how do you move? It's really puzzling, but forget it, I'm not a person who is good at thinking, these strange. It's better not to think about things, then start fighting directly. As soon as the words fell, Udeo's giant sword had crashed down. Boom! The huge sword instantly submerged Li Yiming's figure, and at the same time caused a terrible explosion. The smoke and dust all over the sky enveloped in an instant, and Finn and others who had just arrived at the scene not long ago had a panoramic view of the scene in an instant, and everyone's expressions changed significantly. Master! Ace exclaimed, her eyes filled with worry. She was usually a mouthless girl, but she would have such a big reaction. If other members of the Loki family knew about it, they would definitely be very surprised. However, they have no time to think about such things now. Being hit by Udeo's attack head-on, even adventurers of the same LV6 level dare not say that they will be safe and sound, let alone other adventurers. At this moment, even Tsubaki's face showed a slight nervousness. UBD, you like to be brave. This time, you went too far. What kind of idiot would use his body to resist Udeo's attack? Shout, this kind of brat who doesn't know how to live or die, it's just fine to die. Bert also curled his lips aside, his eyes full of sawdust. Although he likes to reprimand weak adventurers in a harsh tone, let them know their true situation, so that they will not take risks and survive successfully. However, he would not pay attention to this kind of guy who wanted to die. Stupid guy, even if he survives now, he will still die in the future. Instead of waiting until later because of his own reasons and endangering other people, it is not a 100.5 now. Bird! Finn yelled angrily, which made the werewolf bird curl his lips subconsciously. Now is not the time to talk about this kind of thing, everyone, prepare to take action and snatch His Excellency Li Yiming out, as long as there is still a breath. Shin, is the panacea ready? Yes, Captain. Very well, let's do it. Wait a minute. Diona suddenly said just when everyone was about to take action. Chapter 116. Is this damn a lower level adventurer? Thanks to 13683. Bystander monthly pass. Wait a moment. Just when everyone was about to take action, Diona suddenly spoke. Master seems to be fine, and... At this moment, the Amazonian girl showed astonishment on her face, and raised her finger to where Udeo's was, with a hint of horror in her eyes. What? Following the direction of her finger, other people also looked over. I saw two silhouettes looming in the smoke and dust all over the sky, and when I looked closely, a silhouette was standing there tall and straight with its hands raised, supporting Udeo's huge sword blade. Even though the ground of the ground dungeon is already overwhelmed, his body is still straight. Hey, this is a bit of a joke. Bird, whose tone was a bit unfriendly just now looks like he has seen a ghost. It is precisely because of the battle with Udeo's that he is very clear about how powerful this floor master is, and that kind of power is simply not something that humans can bear. If there must be someone who can take over, probably only the guy from the Freya family. It's just that I didn't expect that there was one more person like this now. What kind of low-level adventurer is this? Really, this kid is really scary all day long, can't he be a little more reliable? After seeing that Li Yiming was fine, Chun also heaved a sigh of relief, regained his previous appearance, and couldn't help but complain. However, anyone with a discerning eye can see the pride in the depths of her eyes. It's a lie. He took Udeo's attack with his bare hands. Is this little brother really human? How does he have such power in such a petite body? Even Chun, who had experienced many battles, didn't know how to describe the scene in front of him at this moment. But I have to say, this scene is really shocking. Humph, of course, can my master be an ordinary person? Diona showed a complacent look on her face, and at the same time her eyes shone brightly. It's the first time I saw master. His true strength is simply too powerful, as expected, he must be an Argonaut. No one took Diona's firm words to heart, they were all deeply attracted by the scene. At the same time, Li Yiming, who was in the middle of the battlefield, didn't care about what other people thought of him at all, and a slight surprise appeared on his face. It's really powerful. If you don't have armed domineering, you may really be seriously injured by you, but now, I probably understand your situation. Li Yiming crossed his hands, and his arms turned completely dark black. Udeo's giant blade rubbed against his arm, and a large number of sparks fell quickly, but it was impossible to press down even an inch. Feeling the anger of the behemoth in front of him, Li Yiming's eyes also burned with a flame called fighting spirit. He really hasn't used his full strength for a long time. The power obtained through traversing the simulation has not been released at all, and now he finally has such an opportunity. The cells in his whole body, and even the magic power in his body began to become active. The floor owner in front of him has the qualifications for him to do it himself. Boom! With both hands exerting force, the giant sword was instantly shaken away. Shave! With both feet stepping on the ground continuously, Li Yiming's figure disappeared instantly, and when he reappeared, he was already in front of Udeo's. As expected of a powerful floor master, the moment he reappeared, he reacted quickly, and his huge left hand fell down again. The huge bone palm swept over with an overwhelming momentum. The blow that covered the sky and the sun was enough to make people feel terrified, but Li Yiming's expression was as usual. He had already easily captured every move of Udeo's with his knowledge and arrogance. He simply moved sideways, then jumped up lightly, and directly passed it past Udeo's fingertips and jumped onto the back of its hand. Land feed. The terrifying vacuum slash flew out, and hit Udeo's chest with incomparable precision. The ribs used to protect the magic stone began to shake under this attack, and cracks appeared. However, it did not break directly, which slightly surprised Li Yiming. He never thought that Udeo's defense was stronger than he imagined, but that was all. There was only one way to completely deal with this big guy in front of him. That is to take out the magic stone in its body. As we all know, the monsters in the dungeon basically rely on magic stones to survive. Whether the magic stones in the body are destroyed or taken out of the body, they will usually be turned into fly ash and then recycled by the dungeon. There are no exceptions. Even the owner of the floor will definitely not be able to survive without the magic stone. Then it's easy to do. Lei Shun. Li Yiming's figure flashed, and his whole body turned into lightning. While avoiding Udao's attack, his whole body hovered over his chest, with a slight flash of lightning on his body. Thunder Finger Gun. The fingers entwined with thunder shot out in an instant, hitting a rib with precision. The extremely hard ribs were instantly pierced by this move, and as the strength spread, the cracks on the ribs became bigger and bigger, and finally they were completely separated from the body parts, and fell straight to the ground.